I like the board though, to touch the board. You know
yeah, because a lot of people, they like to touch stuff while they, you know what I mean? Yeah. The actual turning, the pressing, and the knobs.
That's my problem. That's why
it's dope to do that though. We're gonna set up a free download of just like instrumentals and skits, and then like 4 songs on it. So we're gonna do like 10, 11 joints on it, just for the heads. You know what I mean? Because dudes is paying attention right now. I leaked out a couple joints, I got a couple thousand downloads, and they paying attention, man. The life of the tape shit blew up. And you know what I mean? As much as the independent shit could really blow up, you know what I mean? So it's doing alright.
So you basically paying the bills with the music?
I'm trying, man. I still got a day job, you know what I'm saying? But it's starting to pan out. Like, I'm getting paid for gigs.
What do you mean you have chores to do?
Yes, sir.
Chores to do.
Yes, sir.
Tara grudgingly took the bowl of gruel.
Hey!
A bowl of mush came sliding back outside. It was followed by a small dainty pig. She looked up at Tara anxiously.
Oh, all right, Ed. I didn't mean it.
Captain's log, stardate 5444. Captain's log, stardate 5444.9. The Enterprise is on a charting run through the partially explored Moran sector. Since this region seems relatively devoid of suns and planets, we expect to be finished here in a few days.
I get ideas, like, just fucking around like that. I get ideas, playing around like that, you know what I mean?
I'm
a fan of Mad Lib and Doom and them dudes, so I like to get weird too. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's cool to be weird, man. That's what this shit is about. You gotta be an artist, man. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't just wanna, you know what I mean? You gotta come from a real place with it. Like when I wrote Light with a Tape, that shit was, that's how I really felt. Like, damn, this whole shit is just changing on me. You know what I mean? It went from cassettes. It came like, I went to jail with cassettes. When I got out, it was CDs. Like, 1 or 2 dudes had a CD player in their car. When I got out, everybody had that. DVD in your car, that shit was like a culture shock to me. I was like, damn. You know what I mean?
Where did you shoot that video at?
That video was shot in New Haven. I got up with Dulio was doing videos at the time. So I got up with Dulio, piece of Dulio, and Dulio was like, yo, I think, you should do a video for that. Like, I always thought that, because the song was like just a mad visual song. Like, when you rhyming, it's just, when I wrote it, I didn't expect for it to do that. Like, I was just expressing how the fuck I felt. And at the same time, I was vibing off of the Nas joint. And I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, if I could do this song that Nas did, or if I could do the joint that KRS did, I'm a blunt being smoked and I can't wake up. Yeah. If I could do a joint like that, how the fuck would I come on it? You know what I mean? So it kind of just started like some random thoughts. And I rewrote the joint like 3 times. And the second verse I rewrote like 4 or 5 times, and I was just trying to just kind of, you know, do a cover, like mock that a little bit, but kind of just bring my own twist to it. And I was coming from a real place with it. You know what I mean? I was definitely inspired. Whenever you inspire, good shit is going to come. You know what I mean? So I didn't even expect it to really be like that. You know what I mean? I just did it. It was like, oh, shit.
That was a great song.
You know what I mean? I did this right here. This is crazy right here. So then I was still locked up. I actually wrote that joint in 98. You know what I mean? And I was still locked up. So I was like, it was kind of a secret. Because, like, at the same time, I was mad weird at the time to a lot of dudes, too. Because at that time, dudes was listening to DMX. They was listening to, like, Rough Riders. You know what I mean? They was listening to, like, Diddy, Mace. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was still listening to, like, CNN. I was still listening to It Was Written, Illmatic, Purple Tape. But I was discovering new joints too, like Sound Bombing. I got exposed to Mos Def and Talib. I been knew about Pharaoh, but I was like, damn, Pharaoh's still around. You know, and then DITC. So I was digging even in the jail. Like, I was trying to get those joints in my tape deck. You know what I mean? Fuck what they was listening to. Because I knew, like, yo, this can't be rap right here. Dude running around with a shiny. This can't be hip-hop right here. So I was getting weird to the point where, like, dudes was like, yo, they didn't want to borrow my tapes. You know what I mean? They didn't want to have conversations about hip-hop with me because they knew where it was going to go. If they had ciphers, I would get in and I would be like, yo, stick me in your tape deck. They'd be like, yo, that's dope, but what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Why are you rapping about it? What the fuck? We in jail. Yo, guns, yo. You know what I mean? So at the same time, I was like, yo, I probably was as thugged out as you could be. They could check the rap sheet. You know what I mean? But on the inside, I was still an artist, man. You know what I mean? And not only mention rap, I was like an artist. Like, I got joints that you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I just always felt the need, man, that, yo, if I'm going to do this hip-hop shit, I'm going to be true to myself. You know what I mean? I'm going to do joints that I like, man. You know, I'm not going to let nobody dictate the joints that I want to do.
See, certain people take situations like, you know, going to jail and having a crime record and trying to parlay that into a career, trying to use it as a resume. You know what I'm saying? But you're not really doing that. You're not using that as, like, okay, to, you know, portray some kind of image that's like super duper hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, yo, it's like right recently, Billboard.com just did a write-up on me. One of my mans was Googling the name, because that's kind of how you stay abreast on the, like, who's really is a part of, you know, you with the net. Yeah. I mean, he hit me up, like, yo, he blasted me the link. I'm like, yo, come on, man, bullshit, man, Billboard ain't, you know what I mean? And then I went in and I checked the link, and it's like, yo, somebody took the time. This isn't related to my management. This is not related to my camp. This is just crazy. Like, somebody took the time and did a write-up on Billboard on me. It's like, he's a dope writer, too. Like, the way how he put it was dope. So it's like, and in that, you know, he wrote about, like, yo, this guy is 16, went to jail, you know, blah, 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 and, you know, he discovered real hip-hop, just like what I told you, you know. So that must have been bouncing around. He picked some of that up. He was obviously somebody that was listening, because he had, you know, I only got like 2.5 releases out, and they all just street album, like mixtapes, and he knew about those. He quoted joints off of those, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like people are listening, but I say that to say, like, yo, it's important to have a story. It's important to have a story. It's like, okay, Malcolm X is Malcolm X, but Malcolm X is only Malcolm X because he was Malcolm Little. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's only Malcolm X. He's only courageous because he went from Malcolm Little to Malcolm X. There's a plenty brothers with X at the end of their name. Yeah. But if they wasn't Malcolm Little first, then that makes that not that triumphant. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like you had to become a slave and become free for them to say, huh. Or Rosa Parks was the lady that wouldn't give up her seat. That's what made her an icon. Martin Luther King turned the other cheek, but he had a dream. You know, so it's like, the story. 50 Cent got shot down. I mean, I'm not gonna knock him. That's his story. That's intriguing. That's what they want to hear. So Saigon, I'm no different than Saigon. Saigon went to jail. He came out. He did. You know what I mean? So it's very similar. People need to have that story to latch on to, or else you just fall into obscurity. It's like, why should I listen to this? Why is he fascinating?
Yeah.
You know, and like the core audience that's really rocking on my joints is people that's not from the hood, or people that didn't catch cases and went to that. You know what I mean? So they are intrigued by that. You know what I mean? They are intrigued by that. You know, so it's like, it's cool. That's my story. You know, am I just like blatantly exploiting myself to get some popularity? No. But my story is my story. You know what I mean? And that's what make them say, yo, I like Blacastan, yo. You know, he got a real story, yo. He's the real truth. So at the same time, I can say, yo, I can make a story of how I ran into a liquor store and robbed it. I might have not robbed a liquor store, but my man did. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or I was there waiting in the car for him to come back. I've done that. I've been there. Yeah. So credibility-wise, yeah. You know, I'm not going to just like go crazy, but trust me, man, it's all relatable. So I understand. You know, they need a story to latch on to.
And I read your bio. You have quite a story, too, beginning with, you know, the situation with your stepfather, and, you know, then having a situation with the wet.
Oh, yeah.
And also going to prison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And can you tell me how those things have influenced you to be this creative artist that you are?
Exactly. Like, all of that is like, yo, I've always been creative. You know what I mean? And I believe that, like if you go into the bathroom right now, I got comic books next to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I got figures in here. This is not because I just, figures became popular last year, so now he got a Hellboy figure. You know what I mean? Or, comic books are trendy, so he went out and bought a box of comic books. This is what I do. You know what I mean? This is what I do. It's like, it's me. Like, growing up in the struggle and doing things like, seeing things in the household, you have to get outlets, man, to cope with these things, like coping mechanisms, you know what I mean? And it was times where sometimes we didn't have a TV in the house, you know what I mean? It was times where the only enjoyment would come when you was at school in an art class, or you was in a cypher beatboxing and lapping around and ranking with your friends, So these recreational things I latched tightly onto. Like, I would learn how to do a little scribble in art, and then I would bring that home. You know what I mean? And scribble away my time. So you get in what you put in, and then you develop, and if that's really you, then you stick with it. Rapping always been me. I had an uncle that used to, like, my mom's is from Jamaica and my dad is from Nigeria. My uncle used to rube on the sink. He used to get down and just spit, Jamaican style. I used to do it. I used to do whatever he did. He drove a Rabbit, a Volkswagen, with a line of judo on a soccer ball hanging from the rearview mirror. So these are the things that I latched on to. Buster, Yellow Man. You know what I mean? All of these, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even really think back, though. But, like Yellow Man, you know what I mean? He was like, that was being played in the house. That was the soundscape for the growing up. You know what I mean? Patois was the language coming up in the crib. Okra, you know what I mean? And, so that was the upbringing. Yeah, saltfish, you know what I mean? And Aki and stuff. So there's a lot of culture in it. And I'm kind of going all over. But being an artist is like, Kanye West is an artist. You know what I mean? And the people are like, yo, he's corny. How can he mention Kanye? But that's the difference. It's like, you got a dude that just rap, and you got a dude that's truly, like, embodying what it is to fucking be an artist. Common sense. You know what I mean? When you think of an embodiment of, like, a guy who's rapping, but he's not just saying a trendy phrase. I used to love her, you know what I mean? So it's like, it is what it's in you. It's you the artist, you know what I mean? Yeah. This is you. When you talk, like KRS say, hip hop is something you live. Rap is something you do. So when dudes say stuff like that, wow, it just it hits you hard, man. It hits you hard. This ain't something that you can front. You know what I mean? And like, I hope that the people just like, yo, I want to be big. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean I want to have a $3 million home or, you know, $300,000 car. That's not necessarily what I want to keep this studio going. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I want to be able to live off hip hop. I just want to live off hip hop. Yeah. You know, and it's not like I want people to revere my music. I want 10 years from now, dudes to say, yo, Ricky Powell photo shoot. Yo, Blacastan did a Ricky Powell photo shoot. Yo, that was the cover of his album. Yo, he did the life of the tape. If that's all they can remember, I'm fine by that. Yeah. You know what I mean? If that's all that they can remember, I'm fine by that. So, like, I feel like my greatest work is to come, but if I leave that stamp, especially to say, yo, he's from Connecticut, you know what I mean? He did it big, or yo, he went around the world, or if I could just travel, just spreading the music. You know that right now, those are the biggest things to me. Like if I could do that.
You produce as well as MC, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you feel it's important for artists to have a good sense of the music? Like some artists just get on a track and just rhyme over it, but you yourself, you have an understanding of music. You have an appreciation for music. You feel that it's important as an artist to have both, be on both sides, the production side as well as the MC side.
Yeah, that is very important. I mean, it's a different thing, man, because you got some artists that just producing just is not their forte. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're nasty with the pen. They write dope rhymes, you know. It's different things. You know, these are just the things that I've been blessed with and that I've seen, you know, that the things that I'm into. I think to a certain point, man, of rhyming and just being around music, you just get involved deeper and deeper. You know what I mean? And like, again, it goes back to like being an artist. Most of the time, artists are multifaceted. You know what I mean? Like, you'll see a guy that can act, you know what I mean? And you'll see a guy that can sing. You know, it's just how the artist mind, you know, the artistic mind works. You had guys in the past like Sammy Davis Jr. He was a comedian, an actor, a singer, whatever it was. And a photographer. I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? And then you got guys like, it's just hand in hand. So for me, it's hand in hand. And like Life of the Tape, I produced that. You know what I mean? Co-production, Paul Pounce, he helped me, you know, really get the vision and just really put it together. But I can play you the original. It's like the rhyme was written over it. I Gave You Power. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was like a bastard song that didn't have a home, like, because it still didn't have a beat that really went with it. So even when I got out and I had the opportunity to lay it, I couldn't lay it because I was like, the beat has to be, the music, the instrumentation behind it has to have that feeling with it. So I was digging through, I can't even tell them where I got the sample, but it's not from a soul record. It's not. And I was digging through, and I was like, playing the record, and I was like, damn, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, oh, shit. When I heard it, I knew that, yo, this is the beat. And so as I started laying it together, I started spitting it, and it was over. Like, I was all excited. I was like, yo, I got the beat. We going to do Life of the Tape, boom, boom, boom. So I called dudes up, and they was like, yes, that's the beat. So it's like, all of that stuff, man. You know, it's just all one. It's one. Because you listen to a record, and then you like, wow. Sometimes the sample is so deadly, or the song that you hand is so deadly that you don't even want to touch it. Because you know that the way how they did that, it needs to be left alone. Mm-hmm. But you could just appreciate just listening to it. You know what I mean? And that's what it is, man. That's what it is. So it's like, producing is just like some beats that a dude make, you can't even rap on it. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's dope. It's like you took a sample. It's not really going anywhere as far as making a song, but you could play that for you, him, them, and them, and they like, yo, that's crazy. So then, you know, what exactly is that? And like when you listen to Dilla, you listen to Dilla or somebody like that. You listen to Dilla, you listen to Madlib, or you even listen to Prince Paul. And then you like, Prince Paul got joints that you could not even try to write a rap to. But you can appreciate it as a dope joint. You know what I mean? So that kind of surpasses the hip-hop thing, kind of. Like, it just gets so, I label it weird too. But people just label it weird because they don't know where to put it. You know what I mean? And that's dope. That's dope. That's one of the joys of listening to like a dude like Doom. You know what I mean? Those dudes are my idols. Okay. You know what I mean? Those dudes right there are my idols. Because they J Electronica. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people don't really know about that. Like, you listen to J Electronica, you like, damn, like, this dude's mind is somewhere else. So it make you want to, yo, damn, you get on a beat and you like, yo, I want to take it somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And it allows me to be like, okay, it's okay to be creative. And you got to have guys out there like that. You have to. Because it just, you got to, man. You have to. I'm babbling on and on, but I love like just talking about this.
I see you have a large collection of vinyls over here. When you're crate digging, what is it that you're looking for? What kind of sounds or what kind of artist or genre do you mostly look for?
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, I kind of like, I'm not really into soul anymore. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of started out like, I really liked folk music at one point. You know what I mean? And like, even there's a lot of people that even mess with that. But I like to, like, you know, I look for years, you know what I mean? Because certain times in music, it was like, it was a different sounds at certain times. But at the same time, for myself, you just like, you never know, man. You know, so like, you gotta just remain open-minded with the record thing. You know what I mean? I might snatch a joint just from the cover. Yeah. If the cover look crazy, I might just say, yo, this gotta be crazy. And I struck out a lot of times like that. And then it got times where like, I found a certain artist, and then they had a couple joints that I liked, and then I kept going to them, and I stopped finding joints that I liked. So it's like, it's an organic process, man. I don't consider myself like a crate digging guru, you know what I mean? But I know what I'm looking for sometimes, and sometimes the place becomes a mess because I just start snatching records out, just listening. Like, I know in my head what I'm hearing, and I'm hoping I can find something remotely similar to what I'm hearing, because then, you know what I mean? And sometimes you just got to grab something and just work with it. And sometimes you just challenge yourself. You just snatch something and just whatever. You know what I mean? I just look for a loop a lot of times, man. I just, whatever inspires me. You know what I mean? And then I throw it in. I twinkle it around. And sometimes I might not even save it. I might just like to listen to it for that moment. You know, and that's how they, like, for me, there's no real pressure on production. Because I got dudes in the camp that really... They are like my core producers, so I'm just recreational time with the producer. If I get somebody to run with one, I get somebody to run with one of my joints. I produced a couple joints that Cats ran with, but you know, I'm Blacastan the MC foremost at this point. But you know, who knows where to go.
So your first mix CD came out what year was that? About 2000?
That was 06. That was 06.
Way old.
Just like yeah. No, that was 06.
And you that's the one that had Steezo, Dulio, and who else was it? The Branch Davidians?
No, the Branch Davidians came after, but Steezo and Dulio really weren't on the record. It had Elder Sensei was on the record. And shout outs to Elder Sensei, man. And shout outs to DJ Stress, because you know I met Elder Sensei through Stress, and Elder Sensei was like up here, he was chilling with Stress. That was like the main and we was kicking it, man, just kind of like we doing now, and it was just cool to kick it with him because he was part of a monumental hip hop group too, in the golden age of hip hop too, in the '90s, man, with the artifacts and talking about like embodying art and all of that, yo. Those dudes was like graph writers first and foremost, you know what I mean? And so they were like, they was just talented dudes. I did a show with Tame One not too long ago. He's dope. He's like real crazy. He's dope. and it was cool to meet him too. We met briefly, and yeah, L, we just vibed, and I was like, he kind of put the pressure on because, you know, like when the beat came on, he wrote right there on the spot, and I was like, damn, like he just like, to me, I was kind of like, I would have to go home and sit with the thing and all that. And at that point, I was like, yo, I got to step up because I got a feature right here. You know, I got to seize this moment. So I wrote real quick and then just came out dope. And to be honest with you, that was like the thing that really broke me into writing on the spot. Yeah. So now, writing on the spot is very similar to not writing at all. It's very, like, when you really think about it, because you just coming. You just coming. You know what I mean? It's like you coming off the top, but you writing it down. So the next step of writing on the spot is to not write at all. So I can kind of understand where artists come from now, where they're like, they don't write at all. Mm-hmm. I'm not that advanced. You know what I mean? I still like to get some
go into the studio and just rhyme, stop the music,
yeah,
think of some other stuff, and go right back.
That's dope. That's a whole nother skill. I'm to the point right now where I just think of rhymes throughout the day. Sometime I'm riding around, might have an instrumental joint bumping, and then dope shit will come to me. I try to retain it until I can get somewhere to jot it down. You know what I mean? But writing on the spot, it's like you just coming off the cap. So the beat is kind of, whatever you feeling from that music, that instrumentation is what, you know, it's going to help you to project your thoughts on that onto the paper. So I kind of picked that up with that experience right there with Elder Sensei. Then we went on to do a project with DOS where it was like, I think it was like 4 or 5 of us, just dope MCs that would just come in. On Stress would make a beat, we would come in, and you was just on the spot. If you wanted to be on this song, you got to write right now. That's it. So we went through that. We did that for like 4 months, and I was just like boot camp. It was like MC boot camp. And then when I got with Colombian, like, this is like how I became where I'm at right now, you know. So like I got with Colombian, and he's like the evil producer, man. He's like, you know, like a scientist, man. This dude is like surgical with his chops. His method is crazy. Yeah. So like when you in there with him, he's gonna push you, man. He's gonna push you and suggest the line to you. Say, nah, yo, maybe you should say this. Yo, I think you can nail it better. That sounds a little bit loose. You know, so when you go in and you do an album with a guy like that, you come out of that album like a much sharper all the way around. You know what I mean? Your ad-libs, nah. You got to do that again. Yo, your doubles, nah. That's not tight enough. You got to go back. So, you know, and then when you get that, you can say, wow, thank you, man. You know what I mean? Because, yo, I never recorded anything that sounded like this. So then you get to that point where it's like, yo, you just kind of hone in and just developing a skill. And Me Against Radio was 06, and that was no promotion. We just felt like putting out something, yo, to show dudes what we could do. And that shit just caught on like wildfire, yo. I'm baffled right now. It's like 3 years later off of one mixtape. That's how I'm on right now. Like, labels is looking at me off of that. I'm at the table with one label. I don't really want to say no names, but we 99% done with everything. Right now, I'm waiting on paperwork till further notice. And over that one mixtape, it spread it like wildfire, man. Like, it got bootlegged in Japan, Germany. Yo, my joint is on sites. I don't even understand the, The Life of the Tape video blew up. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, I got people hitting me up like, yo, I do shows locally. Sometimes I spread out, but people come to shows knowing lyrics. I had like a girl that was like a skateboard chick. She was like, yo, I bump your joint every day at the skate park. I got my boom box with your stickers on it. You know, so I'm like, damn, this is kind of crazy. You know, like, they know the words, and this is on a little scale. So like, I'm hoping that the label that I'm getting with right now, I hope that they could help me to spread it out further. Because I know when the music catch on that, okay, this is the stuff that Careers is built on. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So what project are you working on right now? I know you mentioned you and Colombian have come together to come up with
Colombian Black.
Colombian Black, right?
Yeah, so there's been a couple changes where like we completed that album. That album's probably been completed for a little bit over a year. And that album was just crazy. Like it's crazy because we completed the album in like 80 days or like 70 days. You know what I mean? And we completed the album and had music to spare. Mm-hmm. Like that's how like when we linked and it was just crazy. It's like, yo, oh my God. This dude listens to what I listen to. He go through the same records I go through. He does what I do. Mm-hmm. He's ill at, like, he's an MC also, but he's ill with the production. I went into his crib, I saw the SB1200, I almost lost my mind. I'm like, yo, this is the dude. Then he has the ASR rap. Then he has, so I'm like, yo, this is hip hop right here. Let's go in. 1 joint, 2 joint, 3 joint, 4 joint. And it was like, they was just coming. It was like just perfect. Yo, we ended up having like 30, 40 joints done. And so when it came down to it, was like, all right, let's put this album together. So we chose out like 13 joints, or the fireest ones out of that. And then we was just gonna let it out. With no label, no nothing. We don't really know. Like, and at that point, it's to a point where like, yo, this music is so great that if we just let this out, we're just gonna be doing a disservice to ourselves, pretty much. And to, you know what I mean? Like, not doing no arrogant shit, but like, why are we just gonna let this shit out right here in Hartford and right here in Mass and right here? And let's try to really do this shit. Yeah. So at the time, we had it set for release like a couple months after we did it. We had figured we was gonna get it mastered. I know I'm just rambling. Y'all gonna edit this though. But Trees, my man, peace of Trees, man, and my man Estee, man. My man Trees is working at undergroundhiphop.com. And that's like one of the largest fucking underground hip hop sites, period. If you're looking for CDs, anything of them artists that you just can't find, is there. Mm-hmm. So Trees is like, he was like very deep into that company. Like he was like there since day one type shit. So he, he's from East Hartford. So we, people was talking about me. Shit was getting back to him. We had never like formally met. And like dudes, like one of my man Correct from my camp sent them a disc. It got, he saw it. And he was like, yeah, this shit is boy. He just shoved it to the side. Somehow another disc came across his desk. And he's like, yo, what the fuck? So then he finally just listened to it. It's like, yo, oh shit, this dude is dope. He comes down, we was doing a show, he seen me, we started kicking it. And he's like, yo, I like your shit. At that time, it wasn't like, yo, I'm gonna try to help you get on. It was just, yo, I like your shit. This shit is dope, keep it up. So then, we was about to put this shit out. He jumped in. He was like, yo, please, don't put this fucking album out. Let me help y'all do this shit right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't do this. Let me help you do this shit right. So long story short, he ended up leaving from underground hip hop, which is kind of like a blessing. It's never a blessing to lose your fucking job, but it was a blessing to us that he became available to get directly involved with our project. So he got in, we sent him the album. He's like, yo, instead of making this an LP, you guys should make this an EP. Yo, you guys should maybe use tops 9 joints. So we were sending them the joints. He's like, I think you guys should use these, and these. And it's kind of cool having somebody from the outside looking in, because they're not looking at it like you, where you're like, yo, this joint is sentimental to me, yo, blah, blah, blah. They looking at it as a fan. Like, yo, this is what I would fucking like to hear if I bought the album. So long story short, we put together the Colombian Black album. We sent it out. We got it mastered. We got it mastered in Philly by this kid that does like Brazilian drum and bass. I heard one of his records, and the mastering was so ridiculous. Like, he got shit panned all over the record. Yo, it sounds like when you listen to the record, it sounds like you're in the center of just instruments just all around you. I said, yo, we got to get this guy. And Trees knew him. So I was like, fuck it, let's get this guy to master our joint. Because if he could do all of this shit, hip-hop is simple. Because there's only 5 elements. It's kick, snare, hats, sample, and bass, pretty much. And then whatever else you sprinkle. So he mastered our shit. Our shit was sounding dope. So that was the project that we shopped to different labels. I don't want to be saying label names all over the place, but we didn't really get dissed at any label. The thing is just like, they're like, well, they're unheard of. Wow, it's hard to take a chance. Or like, you know, they don't have big enough of a buzz. They don't have a big enough buzz. Or well, our roster's filled up from now till 010. Or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? So my man Este has like an in at an unnamed label. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be ringing stuff off. So my man Este is in at a label, and he helped to get Joe Budden signed to amount. I ain't even gonna be getting all into that. But the dude is ill. He's ill at his business. You know what I mean? So he got the record to the right people. The right people was like, yo, shit is fire. We want to have a meeting. Let's set up a meeting. So we set up a meeting, and we was in there and shit. And it was just an honor to really sit down with the guy that I was sitting down with, because he helped to start a lot of dudes from this area, you know, from the New England area off. And it was just dope. It was like, he was just a mutual respect. And long story short, the Colombian Black record is probably, to its entirety, not the record that's gonna come out first. You know what I mean? Like, we're in back and forth debating what it is, you know, what it's gonna be. There's been changes made. The Colombian Black record is coming. As a matter of fact, we was working on part 2. So we got like 2.5 Colombian Black records ready to go. You know what I mean? So a lot of the first record that you're gonna hear is like original Colombian Black shit. So yo, dudes, just get ready, cause like, yo, it's just hip hop. Just get ready, man. Like, I want y'all to judge the work. I don't want to be saying, yo, it's fine. That's kind of corny. Y'all judge the work. It's coming. I'm excited, because y'all going to finally hear, like, you know, a lot of my inner stuff, a lot of all of that. So it's got to be dope, man. But just know that the career is about to take off, and we got music for y'all. For years. We got years worth of music for y'all. So, and Colombian is like, you know what I mean? He's on the come up, you know what I mean? He's trying to land joints on like known artists, you know, projects, and we working together. We got a mixtape that's gonna come before the album. And right now, on May 15th, we're gonna have a free download. And that's CBGS, the Colombian Black Grimy Snacks. You're gonna just hear like just a bunch of loops, transitions. Huh?
Where can I get this download?
Right now we thinking MySpace, obviously, but we might want to make it a little more exclusive than that. It might be like available through CD Baby. We're gonna do initially free download, but we just to keep, you know, try to keep the buzz alive and shit. So that's going to be May 15th, 09, or May 12th, sometime during that week. And we pretty much already selected the joints for that. You're going to hear my weird-ass loops and chops. You're going to hear some skits. It's just a fun thing. And we're going to have like probably 3 or 4 songs on there. But the rest is just going to be like just breaks and shit like that for the people.
Any collabos coming up?
Yeah. On the record, I got a collabo coming out right now on Apathy's album that we did. Shout out to Apathy on the Demigods, man. You know what I mean? Army of the Pharaohs and all that, man. Apathy, man, has just showed me like mad love, man. You know what I mean? He's been around in the underground for a while. And, you know, he just kind of embraced me. Like, I go down, check him out on a radio show. We hang out. We kick it on hip-hop, you know. But genuinely, yo, he's just a real dude. And we kick it, man, and he really hasn't messed with a lot of guys from here. Like, he's done well at keeping himself pretty rare and scarce around the area. But it was like a mutual thing through mutual friends where we linked. You know what I mean? And it's just cool because he showed me mad love. You know what I mean? I have nothing but good things to say about him. You know what I mean? And shout out to the radio show, son, on UConn, WHUS, man. You know what I mean? My man Chum, the Skilla Gorilla.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Stress too, man. But that's dope. I'm gonna be on an Apathy album. To me, that's big because he's like one of the dudes that he's been around the world off of this music stuff. You know what I mean? And he's had a chance to work with some of the biggest underground dudes. Vinny Paz, Jedi Mind, Army of the Pharaohs. Come on, when it comes to underground, those guys are like, you know what I mean? It's them, Doom, you know what I mean? There's a couple other cats. That's it. They rule. So like, fuck with somebody that's affiliated like that, that's also been in that era where underground was the shit. Apathy's dope, man. Shout out to Apathy. I'm Crumb Snatcher. These guys are like dudes that like are my mentors at the same time. They just, you know, my friends, my people that I know that I kick it with. Like Crumb is just like, yo, Crumb is amazing. Like Crumb could be here right now with me, or I could be out there chilling with him, you know, or he could come to Stress's lab or whatever. And then the next day, he's in the lab with Primo, or he's in the lab with Pete Rock, or he's down in Pete Rock's basement, or he's with Large Professor. You know what I mean? Or he's with NYGs or whatever have you. Like, Crumb is just that big. It's like, yo, he was like the first unsigned artist to have a source quotable. That's like a monumental thing right there. So it's like, yo, we done numerous joints together. Yeah, he's like a big brother. So it's like, yo, I'm on his album coming out. You know what I mean? Go cop that too, man. Hidden Scriptures, man.
When's that coming out?
Yo, it got pushed back, you know what I mean? But it's definitely coming. That's coming. That's serious. Shout out to Jimmy King, too, man, and my man Dr. Mario, man. You know what I mean? But Crumb is the truth, man. Crumb is the truth, man. He's like, yo, that's what East Coast hip-hop is, man. You know what I mean? Especially the New England area. This is what it is. It's Apathy, Crumb Snatcher, you know what I mean? Esoteric, you know, terminology. You know, we got a real scene. You got Rex, you know what I mean? It's real dope out. You got Edo, special teams, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm working on hard to get my name, you know, when you got Slain, you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to establish myself amongst that, because you got to get some love at home. You know what I mean? If you're not revered by your peers, I mean... You know, getting the respect of your peers is like, that's one of the biggest things. You know what I mean?
The upcoming tours, concerts.
Well, I mean, we got a show coming up. It's a brick show on April 2nd, which is a Thursday up in Boston. Is Radar Ellis's and Quite Nice record release. They got a very dope album out. It's a brick show. Hint, hint. A brick show. You know what I mean? And I'm going to be performing there. And it's really, you know, Raider Ellis and Quite Nice is their night. But I'm going to come out there, man. You know how I do. I'm going to come out there and I love to perform and just put on a show for the people. You know what I mean? And just rap. There's going to be label heads in there. You know, Brick is going to be in the building. You know, I'm going to be
Is that the one that's on your MySpace? The flyer?
Yeah, the flyers on the MySpace. The dope art, too. That's some dope art. I want to keep that flyer. And shows right now, to be honest with you, yo, I lost like 50 pounds. I was up to like 292. I'm down to 239 right now. I lost a little bit over 50.
Congrats on that.
Because right now I'm just laying low, man. I'm laying low. The record deal go through right. We sign all the paperwork up. I'm going to reappear and it's going to be ugly. So I'm on some Phantom of the Opera shit now. Now you see me, now you don't. You know what I mean? It's nothing personal to the local scene. Y'all still my niggas. I still pop up at Sully's. But when I come back and the record releases, parties come out and all that, it's going to be crazy. I'm trying to get right. You know what I mean? But also that, it's like your physical health and all of that is like, it gets to a point where like, you gotta take a look at all of that, man. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you want to be the best rhymer that you can. You want to make the best beat that you can. But you need to, like, you got to be conscious of, like, everything. Like, I went to the hospital with irregular heartbeats. My mom, you know, had things wrong with her. You know, my family has diabetes. And so it's like, also, I want to sound like a PSA, but, yo, man, if you,
People
you
need to
know,
hear that, though.
yo, we in America. We in the fattest nation in the world. Not in a good sense. Not P-H-A-T, F-A-A-T, F-A-T. You know what I mean? So
I was born in the fattest state in America, Michigan.
exactly. So, you know, it's like, you got to think about that too. So it's like, lately I've been just thinking about that. And, you know, breath control on stage. To be the best artist that I can be, maybe I need to trim down. I'm not saying I want to be 50 Cent. But I want to be where I could come out and rock and do it, you know what I mean? And just be healthy and feel good. You know, mental wellness goes with physical wellness. All it is, as long as all of the temple is right, the rhyme's going to be right. If the temple is right, the beat's going to be right. If the temple is right, my whole everything is going to be right. You know what I mean? So I want to get right, man. You know what I mean? And I'm happy, yo, straight up. Like, I'm just happy. Like, yo, if the thing don't go through with the label, or if this record don't pop off right, particularly at this moment, I'm happy that I'm doing what I love to do. You know what I mean? Because at a time I was in jail and I used to want to rap, but I couldn't even rap. There's no studios in jail. There's no mic. There's no nothing. There's no outlet. So I sat there with like all of this stuff just boiling in me, just waiting and fiending, like Rakim said, like fiending for a microphone. Like, so like the fact that I'm in a lab, I'm in a studio, I could go into the vocal booth and lay my motherfucking rhymes down. I could go ahead, grab a sample and chop and make a beat. This is phenomenal shit for me. So fuck a record deal, you know, fuck anything else. You know what I mean? As long as I had the outlet where I could do my music and I could let this stuff out, I'm great with that. And the fact that fans and people are starting to check for the music, that's a plus. If I could sell a couple units out of the mix, then that's an extra. I mean, I'm doing the music. I just want to keep the lights on in this joint. That's it.
I feel you.
At the end of the day.
And I wish you the best of luck, sir. And I thank you for sitting here chatting with us.
No doubt, no doubt. I fucking rambled on and on, but it was lovely, though. It was lovely, though.
Man, respect.
No doubt, man.
Did you check out the video from the...
You gonna want to see what we did, though.
That's my modularity. I love the drum machine. Eight out, yeah. See the bass? Off a record, and then I just pitched it. Okay. So like, hold on, where the fuck is the bass? The bass is somewhere. I pitched it. I got it somewhere.
That's one thing about samples, you gotta worry about the pitch.
See, look. So this is like. did the boardroom. It's on my page, and I be like, yo, who's this calling me right now? And I be like, yo, I got my feet kicked up with brutal minds like OJ. My team chipped up a singing crack in the hallway. Hard to envision better days, but they here now. Gone for a while, and it's time to real. So when I came with that, I thought of the woo vibe. Like, yo, this is some Ray shit right here. You know what I mean?
Ray all over that. That sounds like American Cream Team type.
And then the kit, you know what I mean? See, here go the bit. That's all pitched. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's it. That's all, man. So everything is coming from vinyl. So that's why, like, a cat that's really be digging, you get everything from the vinyl. It ain't no kits or none of that. It's not. That's the difference, you know what I mean? And then it all got like that gritty sound. Cause you listen to the hat, you hear the pop in the hat. You hear the record. It's distorted. It's got the pop in it. You got a snare. That's just, you know what I mean?
Dirty.
Goes straight off the record. How you gonna, you know what I mean? I like the board because you can touch it and slice it down.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this setup. I'm like, there's no need for a board, but I understand why.
There's no need for a board. But like now, what I do is I come out of there and I come out of my master house and I usually have the Mac right here. So then I got Pro Tools right there. I put it in the Pro Tools I mix it here basically.
Yeah, and then you send it as
I go on the Pro Tools most of the time, depending on what I'm gonna do. This ain't no real ill board. Yeah. This ain't like no board where you were really mixed. But now, say if you got ill and you went to a big boy studio, you grab your MP, you bring it, you plug it up, and you mix your joint right there. You know how your joints sound? When you go on one of them big SSL joints, some crazy joints, you plug your 8 outs to that, you mix your joint down. It's crazy. That's crazy. This just reference. You know what I mean? And this lets you get the feel for your frequencies, and it lets you get the feel for your EQ. Cause this, all you gotta do is track that out in the Pro Tools and do the same thing.
That's how
but it still ain't the same thing, cause you get a warmness from the analog shit. You know what I mean?
So I said we need to get like more analog shit.
Well, that's if you're looking for a classic sound.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
But I mean, sometimes, but producing is kind of like painting a picture, and sometimes you want to paint certain pictures.
Yeah.
You need that analog sound. Like most of the music we do now is strictly digital because we kind of like moving with some of what's going on already. Dig? But when you want to get artistic with it, man, sometimes you gotta go back to analog.
I like how it sounds though. It sounds fucked up though. You know, it sounds distorted and shit. I like that. And another thing, like you get on a song where it's like cheating. You just drag the sound. You stretch it, your time stretch right there. You know what I mean? You want to put the work in. I like that, man.
see, for me, I would have to play that. Because you know how clearance goes.
True.
I'd rather just replay it.
Yeah, underground, we running with samples.
Well, see the thing, yeah, underground.
Yeah, we running with these. Hold on, you wanna hear something crazy? I'm gonna let y'all hear something crazy. My man Colombian got on this. He's the prodigy of this fucking drum machine shit. He's an animal.
On board is sending either.
It's just a room.
I like this fucking around. Let's get this loaded up. This is fire right here. This is soul right here. And this just is a little loop. No real chops, nothing. Yo, this machine is dope too though. But I got a problem with my zip. But this is, the only problem with this is that those little discs I hate.
Mini
With this
discs,
I
yeah.
got the card reader. You hear that? Only on a drum machine. You want That's why. Shout out to Columbia, man. That's why, right?
Yo, you ever get that feeling when you first hear the beat of you doing the production and your face kind of squeeze up and you get that feeling like you about to cry or something? It be so hard.
Yeah, cause that's when you in your zone.
Yeah.
You in your zone, you just going in, you know what I mean? That's what you supposed to get like that.
That sounds like some old school shit though.
That's me and my weirdos on right there. Hold up. Oh, I'll get y'all some heat, man. Hold up. I'm fucking around. Yeah, you wanna hear some weird break shit? Check this out. Play some weird break shit for you right here. I can't be showing niggas records.
Some of this stuff you have to cut out, man.
Hold up, man. Yo.